Welcome back to Planet Doug, and welcome to the beginning of a late lunch adventure on a Sunday afternoon here in Medan, the city of Medan. Look at that blue dot right there. That is where I am right now. And for this lunch, I thought I'd give a little bit of a Google Maps tour to show where I'm going. I'm not going very far. I'm staying in my own neighborhood, but hey, just to give a little bit of context. So where I am, of course, is on the island of Sumatra in Indonesia, and I believe Sumatra, the island itself, is the sixth largest island in the world. I keep hearing people say that on YouTube videos, so it must be true. And as you can see, it runs right alongside of peninsular Malaysia. And my trip here began from the city of Kuala Lumpur, and it's a quick 1 hour flight from KL to the city of Medan in the province of North Sumatra. So let's zoom in on my blue dot and see where we end up. Closer and closer. And just to give full context, here is the city, kind of contained inside this square of roads. A lot of people don't know this, but Medan is by far the largest city in Sumatra. But if you take in all of the like the metropolitan Medan, it's actually the fourth largest urban area in all of Indonesia. And yeah, it's quite a large place, surprisingly large. But I found that when you stay right in downtown Medan, this area where you see all of my maps, my Google Map pins, if you stay in this area right here, it actually feels very much like a small town. It's a huge metropolitan area, but it really does have the feeling of a small town in a way. So yeah, I kind of like it here. And if you fly in, this is where you're going to land. This is the Kuala Namu International Airport. You land here. Very small airport, very accessible, very pleasant. And then you can take either an airport bus or an airport train that is going to take you down to downtown Medan. And this city is very important to Medan, a place called Belawan. This is the port city, and a lot of the goods that are manufactured here and agricultural products, they all make their way along a train track or a major road system down to Belawan, where it all gets piled into ships and goes all around the world. So with that context out of the way, let's zoom in a little bit more on the blue dot. So that's me right there. That's my hotel. And this is the area that I was talking about that is sort of the downtown core of Medan, and it is also the historical center of Medan. And I've been to a lot of places around here. If I start looking around on Google Maps, I start to see more and more places that I've visited. Here, for example, is the State Museum of North Sumatra. I went there one day and shot a video there. This is the Istana Maimun, which is the palace of the Sultan of Delhi. I visited there as well. And right beside it is the Grand Mosque, the Masjid Raya Al Mashun. I haven't gone inside this mosque, but I've been there and walked around the outside and shot a little bit of video there. I've also been to this place, the Ramat International Wildlife Museum and Gallery. I shot a video there. And where else have I been? I recently went here for lunch, but this is M Burger. And I had a very interesting experience and a very good meal at M Burger. And now let's zoom in a little bit more, get in more into my local neighborhood. My neighborhood, I don't know if it's known locally as Chinatown, but it does seem to be the Chinatown district of Medan. And yeah, right there, the blue dot. And I've also been here a number of times to the Medan Mall, which is nearby. And then right over here is the Medan Central Market. And I've also been here and I've shot a couple of videos here. And then I've done a lot of walking in this neighborhood to go from my hotel, which again, blue dot, down either this street or this street or this one down to the Medan train station. And then there's also a series of nearby heritage buildings that I visited. Right here is the Zhong Afi Mansion. I went here one day, got an English tour and shot a video of there. And I went to the Tip Top restaurant, shot a video there as well. And I've been to this heritage building. Oh, not that one. Where's the one I'm looking for? Yeah, that's the one. I didn't recognize the picture, but this is the Plantation Museum, and I've been there as well, and I shot a video there. But setting all that aside, today I am looking for lunch, and interestingly enough, my hotel, again, located right here, this is where I'm staying, the Wisma Sederhana Red Partner 2-star low-budget hotel. It happens to be situated on this road. I always forget the name of it. Salat Panjang. So Salat Panjang is very well known in Medan as a food street. So there are a lot of very popular restaurants in this. It's not really a street, call it an alleyway. And I've been to a number of the restaurants along this alleyway. Some of them I shot a video about my meal. Most of them so far I haven't. And there's one place that is quite well known, and I'm not going here, but I think I'm going to a related restaurant. This one right here, Mie Tiong Sim, is well known for the quality of its Mie Tiong Sim that it serves, and I have eaten there. I just haven't shot any video. But as I was walking around, I went down this alley, and this is where I'm going to go today, outside of my hotel. I'm going to go down the food street to here, Jalan Bogor, turning right here, and then if I walk along Jalan Bogor, you pass by some of my favorite restaurants, places where I've been eating, and then eventually you get to this corner and this place. This is the Mie Pangsit Tiong Sim. And it has such a similar name, right? Mie Pangsit Tiong Sim and Mie Tiong Sim. I don't know if they're related, but both of them have a very high reputation. So since I've already eaten here on the outlet on Salat Panjang, I thought today for a late afternoon lunch I would go here, Mie Pangsit Tiong Sim. And it indicates that it's open, so I'm going to take a chance and head in that direction. And let's click on it and we can take a look at the place. So this is all I know about it so far from was what I see on Google Maps. And if we go down to some of the photographs, click on all, and now we can see that this is their signature dish, as far as I can tell, that this is Mie Tiong Sim. And if we take a look at their menus, this is what I really like about this place. They actually have photographs of all the different dishes you can have here. And then you can look at the pictures and decide which one you want. And then, of course, when you get there, they'll have the menu on display. And if you don't speak Indonesian, you can just point to what you want. And I don't really know the difference between all of these, like bak mie, pangsit, cheng mie, chasio, cheng mie, ayam. Ayam I know is chicken. Mie means noodles, but I don't know what cheng is. I don't know what bak mie is. So we're going to find all of that out. Cheng mie, pangsit, mie tok, pangsit, kua, menu kway teow. So they have kway teow noodles as well. Those are also very good. And according to the reviews online, they have a very good reputation, though people do comment that their prices are a bit on the high side. Again, this whole neighborhood seems to be filled with relatively famous restaurants, and they, because they're well known, and I guess they use high quality ingredients, their prices are a little bit higher. So, bak mie pangsit for 75,000 rupiah. Well, that a jumbo size, but yeah, that's a fairly high price. Biasa is normal, So 50,000 for the normal. I assume kecil means small, 36,000 for small. So that is what is happening in the world of Planet Doug. Walking, just to review, from here, the blue dot, going out into the food alleyway, a long food alleyway. I'll show you the outside of this Mie Tiong Sim location, but then when I get to Jalan Bogor, I'm going to turn right and walk down to here, Mie Pangsit Tiong Sim. I don't know if satellite view is going to tell us anything we don't already know, but let's fire up satellite view and see what that tells us. So again, here I am on the blue dot. This is the narrow alleyway that I'll be walking down, and then walking along this street until I get to this corner. And why don't we even click on Google Maps and go down to Street View and look for where, there it is right there. So that is where I'm going, Mie Pangsit Tiong Sim, right there on the corner. All right, I think that's enough information. Let me fire up my GoPros, and let's head out into the bustling metropolis of Medan. Dua malam. That's it? Okay. Thank you very much. And so, check out the weather. Amazing. Look at that. Bright sun up there in the sky. I was not expecting that at all. Most of the time when I step outside my hotel, I'm expecting rain, but not today. Anyway, this is the street I was talking about, the famous food street. I think it's Salat Panjang, if I have the name right. And I don't think it's going to be very busy right now, you know, sort of mid-afternoon. But let's take a walk down the street, and I'll show you the original Tiong Sim, Mie Tiong Sim outlet. Right here, this is the place. It seems to have two locations. Like this is the Mie Tiong Sim here, but they also have the seating here. They share it with this place, I think, because the times that I've eaten here, they've put me over here. So even though I order from them, I'm eating the food over here. So it's a little bit complicated. But yeah, so there's the name of it right there, as I said. Mie Tiong Sim, been open since 1940. Yeah, it's very quiet here right now, but I can see they're gearing up for a busy night. Everybody's got a lot of food ready. There'll be a lot of people here tonight on a Sunday night. But yeah, very quiet on a Sunday, these back streets here. On a regular day, there's a lot of traffic here, very busy area. So that's what made me wonder whether this Pangsit place would be open, Pangsit Mie Tiong or whatever it's called. So it's right up ahead there on the corner, and it may or may not be open. Let's find out. Well, it was touch and go. I honestly thought it was closed. From a distance, I couldn't tell if the doors are open or not. But now that I'm getting closer, yeah, it looks open. Yeah, they have more signage now than they showed on Google Maps. So the place is looking a little more happening. Mie Pangsit Tiong Sim. And it looks like they even have a beer, Bin Pang, crystal beer. And Let's go in and see what's going on. Yeah, mid-afternoon, as I said, it's not going to be very busy, so I should have the whole place to myself, just about. And according to their sign, they've been open since 1933. So another historic place in Medan. All right, in we go. So, hello. So here's a menu. I'll take that to my table. Mie Tiong Sim Kopitiam since 1933, and looks like they have a lot of tables. All right, I've got my table. Only person here, and the menu looks exactly as it did when I looked online. So I'm trying to make sense out of all the options here, and I've got a little bit of it figured out, because we have some with Pangsit, which are the dumplings, and some called Chang. I looked up Chang. I still don't know what it is. It said it was cloves, but then you can start to combine them, so you can get all of them together. So I've got Chang Mi Chasio Dan Pangsit, which is probably everything, you know. So they have some of the noodles with one item or two items, or everything combined, something like that. Yeah, a lot of options here. Oh, then they have it as kind of a soup as well, if you want more of a soup than a bowl of noodles. So I guess I just have to pick one and see what happens. I want one with the dumplings. So one of the Pangsit options I definitely want. I ended up going for the very first item on the menu, and it looks to be, who knows, it may be their specialty. It's called a Mie Pangsit, and it has, the noodles, it has chicken and dumplings. So basically it has all of it, I think. And the ordinary size is 58,000. Jumbo 87, I think, and small 40,000. I went for the Biasa, and just a cold Coke to go with it. Yeah, some of the other items that I saw on the Google Maps listing, I don't see them here on the menu, and that could be people buying food at other restaurants, but then they end up posting those pictures to the wrong restaurant, you know what I mean, the wrong listing on Google Maps. Or they might come to this area and have food at a bunch of different places, and they take pictures of all their food, but they end up posting the photo to the wrong restaurant. That happens quite a bit. So I think that's what happened here. All right, so there's the menu. And they even have it frozen that you can take home. If you really like it, you can actually bring it home, I guess, and heat it up at your house. All right, my lunch has arrived, and it's pretty much what I was expecting. The restaurant itself, to be honest, is not what I was expecting. Because of its history and its reputation, I was expecting something much more traditional, run by a family, older style furnishings. But this is almost like a modern restaurant, like a modern chain, because there are, 5, 6, 7 young women working here, and they're all in sort of a yellow-blue uniform. They have their own uniform for the restaurant. And yeah, it just feels like this could have a bunch of outlets all around the city, right? So it started, in 1933, and has a very good reputation for the quality of their food, which keeps them going all the way up until today. But they've sort of left behind their, street-level roots, if you know what I mean. Whereas the other Tiong Sim place, the one in the food alleyway, that one looks very much like original condition, going back to the 30s or the 40s. So, yeah, different look to them. Food looks good, pretty much what I was expecting. The dumplings in a separate bowl with the broth, and then the noodles are dry, and they have, you know, some vegetables, chicken, a whole bunch of different things in there that make up the Tiong Sim. There you go. All right, let's dive in. Yeah, broth is nice. I'm going to pour. I don't really know what the etiquette is or what the proper way of eating this is, but I always like to pour the broth into the noodles. And I'm going to put the whole thing in there along with the pangsit, you know, along with the dumplings. Put it all together. And then we'll dive in. Looks like quite al dente noodles, so very crunchy, probably. Try one of the dumplings. It's really nice. I could probably eat 10 of those, you know, at a sitting. There's some sweetness to some of the ingredients on the side, you know, the meat. Yeah, some sweet flavoring there, which is kind of nice. I think for the average person, they'd be diving into all the chilies and things because it doesn't have a lot of strong spiciness or strong flavorings, which I don't mind. I kind of like my food that way. I usually eat it just how it comes out of the kitchen. But you know, you could spice it up, add chilies to your liking, whatever you want to do. I'll add a little bit of this. Well, that brings me to the end of my lunch here. I'm not sure what else to say about it. It was, you know, a good bowl of noodles. I've had this sort of a meal many times, and this is as good or better than any I've had in other locations. So, yeah, it's perfectly fine. But it is interesting that the more places you eat at, and then if you stop to think about the details, then differences come up, you know, like for example, when I went to M Burger the other day, I was so impressed with that place. And part of it was their attention to detail. So when I ordered a Coke there with ice, I got, you know, a big glass full of ice, but the Coke itself came out of a cooler and was ice cold, which is, you know, what I would want. And then here I ordered the same thing, ice with Coke, and I got a glass filled with ice, but the bottle of Coke was like room temperature. So, you know, it wasn't cold at all. And it's not such a big deal, you know, you pour it over your ice and it cools down, but it's so warm that it melts all the ice really quickly, and then you end up with watery Coke, right? So, you know, it's just a little difference, but you really feel it when you go from one restaurant to another. And then also, as I've been sitting here, the noise from the fans up above, I don't know what they are. A fan just to blow in air, or it's part of the kitchen. It wouldn't be air conditioning because there's no air conditioning in here, but the noise level just from these air ducts in the fans is kind of overwhelming. It's so loud. It gets to you after a while. So, you know, normally I wouldn't think about stuff like that because a lot of the restaurants I eat in here, they're all really loud. There's so much street noise, traffic, construction. There's always noise. But, you know, if you're going to give a review of a restaurant, I guess you should really think about those things. And one thing I'd say here is, yeah, just really noisy because of that fan, whatever it is. I haven't looked around to see what it could be. But if you were sitting here with a friend, I think you'd end up shouting at each other just to be overheard, right? And that is it. Going to pack up, settle my bill, and head back out into the city. So that is the restaurant behind me, walking right into an incredibly bright sun. It's nice to see. I haven't seen the sun like that. I can't look at it, it's way too bright. Yeah, the bill there came to 69,000, the Coke for 11,000, and then my Mie Pangsit for 58, and that's a total of, I guess, 450 US. And yeah, it's a very pricey bowl of noodles, to be honest. Again, comparing it to my life back in Bukittinggi, if I went out looking for Mie Pangsit, I'd probably be thinking about, it'd be 25,000 rupiah. That's what I was paying back then. So here in Medan, it's more like 50 to 60,000. So yeah, double the prices here in Medan, which is kind of interesting. But I think overall, if you're here and you wanted to have some of the famous Mie Pangsit, this Tiong Sim style, if it's a style of noodle, I would go to the place in the food alley. The price would be the same there, if not a little bit cheaper, and you get the added, authentic atmosphere of an older restaurant. This place feels more like a chain now. Yeah, and if you're getting the exact same noodles, which I think you are, because I've eaten at both places, and the noodles in the food alley were very, very good, just as good as here, but then you get a very interesting experience because of the setting. Very much more traditional, older furniture. So yeah, I would definitely go to the one in the food alley instead of this one. Now I know.